of our lives, O Savior. I thank you, Abba, for having your way on this our night, O Savior, empowerment, a walk through this for our service. Thank you, Abba, for what you're going to speak forth to us, your people. Thank you, Abba, for what you're going to reveal, Abba, the secret things, Abba, that were once hidden, Abba. Thank you that they are made revealed. I thank you, mighty Yahuwah, for every scripture. Thank you for every declaration, for every confession, Abba, every song that comes forth. Abba, be esteemed through it. Great and mighty Abba. I thank you for having your way. Thank you, O Savior, for moving, O Savior, in our lives as your people. I thank you, Abba Yahuwah, for all that you're doing. And I thank you for all that you've done. And I thank you for all that you're yet going to do. Thank you for these things and more. In Yahushua HaMashiach's wonderful name, we do pray. And it is so.
And it is so.
For next, everyone to stand to your feet and give Yahuwah a hand of praise as we bring forth the invoking praise and worship team.
Be magnified, be magnified, be magnified. Come on, be magnified. Come on, be magnified, be magnified, be magnified. Be magnified in the heavens, be magnified in the earth, be magnified in this temple. Yahushua, Yahushua, be thou magnified. Come on, be magnified, be magnified, be magnified. Come on, be magnified, be magnified, be magnified, be magnified in the heavens, be magnified in the earth, be magnified in this temple. Yahushua, Yahushua, be thou magnified. Come on, be magnified, be magnified, be magnified. Come on, be magnified, be magnified, be magnified, be magnified in the heavens, be magnified in the earth, be magnified in this temple. Yahushua, Yahushua, be thou magnified. Yahushua, Yahushua, be thou magnified. Come on, be magnified, be magnified, be magnified. Come on, be magnified, be magnified, be magnified, be magnified in the heavens, be magnified in the earth, be magnified in this Be magnified in the heavens. Be magnified in the earth. Be magnified in this temple. Yahusha, Yahusha. Be thou magnified. Be magnified. Be magnified. Come on, be magnified. Be magnified. Be magnified in the heavens. Be magnified in the earth. Be magnified in this temple. Yahusha, Yahusha. Be thou magnified. Yahusha, Yahusha. Be thou magnified. Yahusha, Yahusha. Be thou magnified. Yahusha, Yahusha. Be thou magnified.
Hallelujah, hallelujah. Hallelujah, 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 Come on and Baruch Yahuwah with me. 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 Singing hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Singing hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Come on and praise Yahuwah with me. 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 Singing hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Singing hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Come on and worship Yahuwah with me. 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 Singing hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Singing hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Singing hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Come on and follow the Torah with me. Come on and follow the Torah with me. Come on and follow the Torah with me. Come on and follow the Torah with me.
Yahuwah with me. Come on and love 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 Yahuwah with me. Sing hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Come on and wave your hands with me. 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 Sing hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Come on and sing Yahuwah with me. 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 Sing hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Come on and sing your song with me. 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 Sing hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Come on and do your dance with me. 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 Sing hallelujah, 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 with me. Come on, Baruch, Yahuwah with me. Come on, Baruch, Yahuwah with me. Come on, Baruch, Yahuwah with me. Hallelujah, 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 Thank you, Lord. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Baruch Yahuwah, oh my soul, and all that is within me. Baruch Yahuwah, oh my soul, and all that is within me. I will baruch your name. 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 Baruch Yahuwah, oh my soul, and all that is within me. Baruch Yahuwah, oh my soul, and all that is within me. I will baruch your name. 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 Baruch Yahuwah, oh my soul, and all that is within me. Baruch Yahuwah, oh my soul, and all that is within me. I will baruch your name. 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 Baruch Yahuwah, oh my soul, and all that is within me. Baruch Yahuwah, oh my soul, and all that is within me. I will baruch your name. 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 Baruch Yahuwah, oh my soul, and all that is within me. Baruch Yahuwah, oh my soul, and all that is within me. I will baruch your name. I will baruch your name. I will baruch your name. I will baruch your you. Oh, my soul, and all that is within me, I will prove your name. 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 Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah,
hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. It is now time for our declaration. That's how we come to worship the atmosphere. So the first voice you hear will be a portion of the praise team, and I will be immediately followed to take us into a time of declaration.
Listen here, have you ever heard his name? I know he washed me clean, white as snow. If you have salvation, then you know you will be clean. You'll be cleansed with the Spirit. Have you ever heard of his name that starts with Y and ends with A? Oh, that is Yahusha, yeah, oh, save Yahusha, his name Yahusha, yeah, Yahusha, sweet Yahusha. Listen here, have you ever heard his name? I know he washed me clean, white as snow. If you have salvation, then you know you will be clean. You'll be cleansed with the Spirit. Have you ever heard of his name that starts with Y and ends with A? Oh, that is Yahusha, yeah, oh, his name Yahusha, his name Yahusha, yeah, Yahusha, sweet Yahusha. Listen here, have you ever heard his name? I know he washed me clean, white as snow. If you have salvation, then you know you will be clean. You'll be cleansed with the Spirit. Have you ever heard of his name that starts with Y and ends with A? Oh, that is Yahusha, yeah, oh, his name Yahusha, his name Yahusha, Yahusha, sweet Yahusha, yeah. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah.
Hallelujah. We truly thank God for all that He has done, all that He's doing, and all that He is truly yet going to do. So let it reflect in our language and in our speech. Ask everyone to repeat after me. Say, I declare that I trust in the word of my Yahweh. Because all of creation is established through His word. Therefore, all my trust, all my hope, all my dreams, and all my doings shall be guided by His Torah. Satan defeated, your darkness is scattered, and Yahushua is sovereign. Now let's put our hands together. Let's give God the praise. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. And as we are giving Him the praise, giving Him the glory, giving Him the highest esteem, let us prepare to proceed unto our King. Hallelujah. And as we give based upon His set apart will. But as it says in the book of 2 Corinthians chapter 9, that I will give seed to the sower, our food, and He multiplies our seed sown, and increase the fruits of our righteousness that abound unto every good work. For they offer us you'll forgive us. 2 Corinthians 9, hallelujah. The book of Genesis lets us know that as long as the earth remains, there remains seed time and harvest. Malachi tells us when we're faithful and obedient our tithes and offerings, that He will open unto us the windows of heaven and pour us out of a roofing, that there shall not be room enough to receive it. He will rebuke the vow for our sake, and neither shall I buy fruit in the field, says the Master of hosts. Amos comes full circle to let us know that the time is coming, and now is, when the reaper shall overtake the sower. So as we come prepared to sow our seed, we do not understand that not only is it seed time, but what time is it? Harvest time. What time is it? Harvest time. It is harvest time. So if you need a time that offering over, raise your hand. I us be more than happy to serve. Come from where you are and bring seed unto our King. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Let us lift our seed up to our King. Precious Abba Yahuwah, we do thank you. We do magnify you. We give you the highest esteem. And we show, hallelujah, our trust and our belief in you through the act of our giving. Our giving is an act of our belief. And you let us know in your set apart writ that if we be willing and obedient, that we shall eat the good of this land. And we do thank you now that because of our belief in our giving and our trust in your set apart writ, and because your every word toward us is yes and it is so, we thank you that as we give now, we know that according to your writ that we shall suffer no lack, no want. We thank you, Abba, that you are with us everywhere that we go, whether in the city, whether in the field, no matter where we are. Hallelujah. We thank you for being our sustainer and our keeper. And you say that when we give, you'll cause men to give into our bosom. We do thank you now as we magnify you, hallelujah, for your writ. And we thank you that as we've been able to give in this time, we thank you for your daily provision in the name of our Savior, Yahushua, our Mashiach. And it is so. And it is so. Hallelujah. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Hallelujah. We do give the highest esteem to our King. And we do magnify him for all that he has done, all that he is doing, and all that he is yet going to do. Hallelujah. And we do thank him because as we prepare our minds to receive from his set apart writ on this evening, we magnify him, hallelujah, because he has truly moved us with a gift. He said in his set apart writ that he will give us pastors, shepherds that will lead us and after his own heart. Hallelujah. And so we do thank him for receiving understanding, receiving wisdom from his word on this evening. Hallelujah. And we do magnify him for all that he is going to reveal unto us on tonight. Hallelujah. So without further ado, it gives me a tremendous honor to bring to your forefront my Warren, the senior pastor of Messengers of Yahuwah's Kingdom and Great Belief Ministries, our very own apostle and senior prophetess, Sabrina Brown.
Hallelujah. Come on, let's worship Him. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Oh, hallelujah. Oh, hallelujah. Oh, hallelujah. Don't let go. Oh no. 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 Woke you up this morning, starting you on your way. Yeah, you lied, and I'm all of the free. Burdened by His love and all of His mercy. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Wonderful Counselor, mighty God, my King of Peace, heavenly above, you're always near, you're always near. So make it through the journey, make it through the journey. Your hand is there to hold, and always know when you wanna fly, He has a victory. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Come put your hands up. Hold on, you can't stop. We can't stop believing in God now. We come too far. Hallelujah, hallelujah. 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 You gotta hold on to your belief. You gotta hold on to the trouble and don't let it go. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Don't let go of the principles. Don't let go of His statutes. Don't forget His testimonies. Don't forget His judgments. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Don't forget Him. Hallelujah. He's perfect in all His ways. Don't forget Him. Hallelujah. 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 Don't forget His statute. Don't forget His testimony. Don't forget His judgment. Hallelujah. But hold on. Hallelujah. Hold on. And don't let go. Hallelujah. Hold on to His promise. you're worthy. Hallelujah, hallelujah. He's worthy, he's worthy. You're worthy, you're worthy, you're worthy, you're worthy. Hallelujah, hallelujah. 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 Hold on, hold on. A change is gonna come. Hold on, don't let go. Hallelujah, hallelujah. 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 You're worthy, you're worthy, you're worthy. Hallelujah. 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 You're worthy. You're worthy. Hallelujah. 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 You're worthy, you're worthy, you're worthy. You're worthy, you're worthy. We are speaking tonight. You're worthy, you're worthy. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Hallelujah, hallelujah. 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 He's so worthy. He's so worthy. Hallelujah. 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 You're worthy, you're worthy. You're worthy, you're worthy. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. You're worthy, you're worthy. You're worthy, you're worthy. Hallelujah. 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 our Savior, our King. Hallelujah. You're worthy. You're worthy. You're worthy. You're worthy. Hallelujah. 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 He's worthy. Hallelujah. He's worthy. You're worthy. You're worthy. You're worthy. Hallelujah. 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 My soul said yes. My soul said yes. My mind says yes. My will says yes. I say yes to you, God. I say yes to you. Hallelujah. It is the highest praise. Hallelujah. He is so awesome. He's so awesome. Hallelujah. 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 He's worthy, he's worthy, he's worthy. You should already know that by now, that he's worthy. Hallelujah. Worthy of the praise. Worthy of all of our applause. Worthy of our adoration. Worthy of our tears. Our celebration. As we celebrate the giving of the Torah. Yes, yesterday was Shabbat. But how can we not continue to celebrate the giving of the Torah? The instructions of Abba Yahuwah to help to govern us as a people, that we'll know how to live with each other. Learn how to disagree with one another agreeably. Learn how to truly understand the principles and the instructions that He's given unto us as a people. And that we cannot expect other people to act like we act, especially when we know we are the chosen. And that we have been renewed. I don't know about you, but I told our Abba Yahuwah and His Son Yahushua, our Hamashiach, for being able to renew my belief, for being able to renew my stand in His truth, for being able to celebrate a set-apart time, and know that truly it is working for my good. That is teaching me how to be set apart in the true essence of being set apart. Because it is not just our name that sets us apart, but it's how we live while we carry that name that sets us apart. People say, you kill my dog, I kill your cat. You flat my tire, I burn your house down. And I'm talking about us as a community of people. We don't know how to walk away from each other without it getting verbally violent. We say things to one another and don't consider what we've opened our mouths to say. Do we honestly believe that God is pleased with how we entreat one another? He is not. He is not. It is not about you. It is about us as a community of people. This is why we cannot afford to allow the Torah to depart from our mouths. On tonight, I want you to recite with me as we read verse 7 of Yahushua, the son of Nun. Chapter 1, verse 7, and we're going to recite verse 8. It is important that we truly understand the impact that the Torah has in and upon our lives. It is not enough just to say I'm a believer. We've got to execute what we believe. We've got to operate in what we believe. If I love you and I truly believe in Yah, even watch this, if you are not walking exactly right, that is still no legal right for me to bash you and beat you. It's important that we understand. Those of us that are awakened, we were awakened to bring those that are still asleep out of their sleep and their slumber. But how can we do it if we don't stay focused and we don't keep the Torah? in our mouths, so that we speak it and rehearse it and practice it. Perfect practice makes perfect. It's important that we understand this, especially in this day and time we're in. It's important because how can I say or believe that you have my back when you can't even talk to me in the right manner? If we can't communicate and we can't disagree agreeably, how can I say you have my back? There's a problem and we need to deal with that problem. And the way we deal with it is through the Torah. Because remember, Yahuwah loves righteous ruling and righteous judgment.
Right.
Before we go blabbing and running off at the mouth, let's step back for a moment and make sure that we are saying the right things.
That's right.
It's important that we understand this. Hold on and don't let go. That's what Yah put in my spirit. He put in my soul, I'll say. To encourage us as a people to hold on. Don't start backing up now. Don't start modifying. Don't start compromising.
Right.
Don't start changing up now.
That's right.
Don't start getting comfortable and getting slack. Don't start now. Hold on. Continue to fight the good fight of belief and don't let go. Hold on. Our change is coming.
Yes, yes.
A greater change is coming for us as a people. Hold on. Yahushua chapter 1 verse 7 and 8, the son of Nun. Only be strong and very courageous to guard to do according to all the Torah which Moshe my servant commanded you. Do not turn from it right or left, so that you act wisely wherever you go. Let us repeat verse 8 as I have tailored it to fit our confession. I will not let this book of the Torah depart from my mouth, but I shall meditate on it day and night, so that I guard to do according, to all that is written in it. For then I shall make my way prosperous, and act wisely. Now look at your neighbor and tell your neighbor, you shall act wisely. And you shall act wisely. Look at your other neighbor and tell your other neighbor, you shall act wisely. And you shall act wisely. Take your hand and place your hand over your heart and say, Abba Yahuwah, I shall act wisely. Say it again, I shall act wisely. I shall act wisely. And it is so. It is important that we understand the power and the impact that the Torah will make upon our lives and in our lives and around our lives when we guard it like we guard everything else in our lives. We guard our possessions, our worldly possessions, or material possessions. We guard them with our dear lives. We have alarm systems that we'll go pay thousands of dollars for to keep somebody from breaking in and stealing your mahogany furniture, stealing your cherry wood, stealing your oak, breaking in, stealing your silver, your gold, your diamonds, your rubies. We get the best alarm system for our cars. Why? Because we don't want nobody stealing our stuff. How much more should we guard the Torah and not let the enemy of our belief steal it? Not allow depression, not allow trials and tribulations, not allow even our Ak and our Cody to steal it from us. Those that may not be as mature or walking as they should. Never throw down and let go of what Yahuwah has given you.
That's right.
Never lay it down for anybody. Never lay your morals or your scruples down for anybody. Because you have to understand, when you lay them down, basically you are telling Yah, you are not strong enough to do this. I have to do it.
Right.
And the moment you do that, you make yourself an open target to the enemy. And guess what? He's going to take the shot. He doesn't care about collateral damage. Because you have to remember, somebody's looking at you.
That's right.
And somebody's believing that you're going to walk this life all the way through. It's important that we understand that's why we need the Torah. It is just that powerful. Somebody say, yes, it is.
Yes, it is.
It is just that powerful. Able to change lives. Able to transform lives. Able to resurrect lives. Because it is just that powerful. Yes, it is. And I trust it wholeheartedly.
Yes.
I believe it with all my heart. Because I know what it's done for my life. No, it can't save me, but it sure can keep me in salvation. Because only Yahushua can save me.
That's right.
But the Torah sure can keep you and cause your life to be structured and defined and developed so that people can truly know who you are. They don't even have to second guess whether or not you are a believer. Because they can tell from the freshness of your life that you are a believer. I am a believer on tonight. I am a believer on tonight. And it is so.
And it is so.
Repeat with me. Grant us understanding.
Grant us understanding.
O Yahuwah,
O Yahuwah,
our Savior,
our Savior,
to know your ways.
to know your ways.
Now we're going to say this. To execute
To execute
the knowledge
the knowledge
and the understanding
and the understanding
of this knowledge,
of this knowledge.
we ask that you grant it to us.
We ask that you grant it to us.
Circumcise our hearts to fear you.
Circumcise our hearts to fear you.
For forgiveness,
For forgiveness.
may redemption come to us.
May redemption come to us.
Distance us from pain.
Distance us from pain.
Make us to prosper.
Make us prosper.
Make us to dwell
Make us dwell
in the oasis of your land,
in the oasis of your land.
our land.
Our land.
May you gather our scattered ones
May you gather our scattered
from the four extremities.
from the four extremities.
Judge our mistaken ones
Judge our mistakes
in accordance with your knowledge.
in accordance with your knowledge.
May your hand be raised up over those
May your hand be raised up over those
who are wicked.
who are wicked.
Who are wicked.
Who are wicked.
Rejoice the upright
Rejoice the upright
in the rebuilding of your people,
in the rebuilding of your people.
Yisrael,
Yahweh,
and in the repairing of your sanctuary.
and in the repairing of your sanctuary.
Allow our praise and worship
Allow our praise and worship
to be acceptable in thy sight,
to be acceptable in thy sight.
and in the sprouting of the pride
And in the sprouting of the pride
of Dawood your servant,
of thy womb, your servant.
and in the radiance of the lamp
And in the radiance of the Lamb
of the son of Jesse,
of the Son of Jesse.
your anointed.
Your anointed.
Before we call out unto you, Abba Yahuwah,
Before we call out unto you, Abba Yahuwah,
you said you would answer us.
you said you would answer us.
In the mighty name of your Son,
In the mighty name of your Son,
Yahushua,
Yahushua,
our Hamashiach.
our Mashiach.
Before we speak unto you, Abba Yahuwah,
Before we speak unto you, Abba Yahuwah,
you said you would hear us.
you said you would hear us.
In the mighty name of your Son,
In the mighty name of your Son,
our kinsman redeemer,
our kinsman redeemer,
Yahushua,
Yahushua,
our Hamashiach.
our Mashiach.
For you are he
For you are he
who answers
who answers
at every moment of
at
distress,
every moment of distress,
redeeming and rescuing
redeeming and rescuing
from all hardship,
from all hardship,
from all hardship.
from all hardship.
Worshipful are you,
Worshipful are you,
O Yahuwah,
O Yahuwah,
hearer of our prayers.
hearer of our prayers,
And it is so.
and it is so.
Remember us, your people, O Yahuwah, our Savior, and our prayers, and the prayers of our family, Yisrael. Restore service in the inner chamber of your temple, and allow our praise and worship to be acceptable in your hearing and in your sight. And accept our prayers and our offerings and the offerings of our family, Yisrael. Remember us, Abba Yahuwah. And may our service and the service of our family, Yisrael, always be heard. May our eyes behold your compassionate return to Yisrael, that we be heard as you heard our ancestors of old. Worship for you, O Yahuwah, who restores your dwelling in the midst of us, your people, Yisrael. As we bow at this place, our King, we give you thanks
We give you thanks
that you are He who is,
that you are he who is,
Yahuwah our Savior,
you are our Savior,
forever and ever,
forever and ever.
for our lives committed into your hand.
For our lives committed into your hand.
our souls entrusted to you.
Our souls entrusted to you.
And for your miracles
And for your miracles
and compassions
and compassions
that are at every moment,
that are at every moment,
evening and morning,
evening and morning,
for everything
for everything,
be worshipped
be worshipped
and exalted.
and exalted.
For you are sovereign,
You are sovereign.
and there is one beside you,
There is one beside
Yahusha,
you. Yahushua,
our HaMashiach.
our Yahushua.
Worshipful are you,
Worshipful are you.
O Yahuwah.
O Yahuwah,
Most benevolent
most benevolent
is your name,
is your name.
and it is fitting
And it is fitting
to give you thanks.
to give you thanks.
And it is fitting
And it is fitting
to give you thanks.
to give you thanks.
And it is so.
And it is so.
May shalom, goodness, and baruch be upon us, and mercy, loving kindness, and compassion. And baruch us all with the light of your countenance, for the light of your countenance, O Yahuwah, our Savior. You gave us Torah and life, love and kindness. O Yahuwah, our Savior, you gave us Torah and life, love and kindness, uprightness and shalom. And it is good in your eyes to baruch us, your people, Yisrael, at every moment. Worshipful are you, O Yahuwah, who baruchs us, his people, Yisrael, with shalom, and it is so.
And it is so.
Let us say this together as we bow. May the utterance of my mouth
May the utterance of my mouth
and the deliberation of my heart
and the deliberation of my heart
be desirable before you,
be desirable before you.
O Yahuwah,
O Yahuwah,
my rock
my rock
and my redeemer.
and my redeemer.
May the utterance of my mouth
May the utterance of my mouth
and the deliberation of my heart
and the deliberation of my heart
be desirable before you,
be desirable before you.
O Yahuwah,
O Yahuwah,
my rock
my rock
and my redeemer.
and my redeemer.
Let's say it one more time. May the utterance of my mouth
May the utterance of my mouth
and the deliberation of my
and
heart
the deliberation of my heart
be desirable before you,
be desirable before you.
O Yahuwah,
O Yahuwah,
my rock
my rock
and my redeemer.
and my redeemer.
And it is so.
And it is so.
We have just recited Tehillim 19 and 15. And it is so.
And it is so.
Tehillim, Mishli, 15 and 8. The sacrifices of the wicked is an abomination, hateful, and exceedingly offensive unto you, Abba Yahuwah. But the prayer of the upright, it is your delight. Mishli 3 and 4. So shall we find favor, good understanding, and high esteem in the sight or judgment of Yahuwah and man. And it is so.
And it is so.
Tehillim 1 and 1. Baruch is the man that walketh not in the counsel of the unrighteous, nor standeth in the way of sinners, nor sitteth in the seat of the scornful. But his delight is in the law of Yah, and he doth meditate upon it. Hebrews 11 and 6. But without belief it is impossible to please him. For he that cometh to Yahuwah must believe that he is, and that he is a rewarder of them that diligently seek him. And it is so.
And it is so.
And it is so.
And it is so.
Tehillim 34 and 15. The eyes of Yahuwah are upon the upright, and his ears are open unto our cry. Verse 17. We the upright cry, and Yahuwah heareth and delivereth us out of all of our troubles. Somebody say he's a deliverer.
He's a deliverer.
Say it again, he's a deliverer.
He is a deliverer.
He is a deliverer. Acts 1 and 8. But we have received power. After that, the Ruach HaKodesh has come upon us, and we shall be witnesses unto Yahuwah, both in Jerusalem and in all of Judea and Samaria, and unto the uttermost parts of the earth. For we are his witnesses, written by him. And it is so.
And it is so.
Yehukin and Aleph, chapter 5, verses 4 and 5. For whatsoever is born of Yahuwah overcometh the world, and this is the victory that overcometh the world, even our belief. Who is he that overcometh the world, but he that believeth that Yahusha is the son of Yahuwah? Yehukin and Aleph, chapter 2, verses 5 and 6. 6 being the first verse. He who says he abides in him ought himself also to walk just as he walked. Verse 5. But whoever keeps his word, truly the love of Yahuwah is perfected in him. By this we know that we are in him. By this we know that we are in him. Why? Because we keep his word, and the love of Yahuwah is perfected in us. How do you know that the love of Yahuwah is perfected in you? When you love him so much that it doesn't matter what anybody else does. Your focus is the Torah. Your focus is on how to maintain
a consistent and upright life through the Torah, following Him. It doesn't matter who likes you. It doesn't matter who comes, and it doesn't matter who goes. Why? Because your focus is Him. Now understand what I mean by that. What I mean by that is that if people don't want to live for Him and live by His instructions, you can't make a person do what they don't want to do.
Right.
It's their loss. Their loss. And you can't make people love Him. But the more you understand the Torah and the more you feed your soul it, the more you want it, the more you have to have it. If you are experiencing a deficiency or a lack or desire for it, that means you are not taking enough in. That means you are not reading it. That means that at some point, even when you are one that has been persistent and you slack up, there is something in your soul that says, no, you got to get back to this. Because there is a longing, there is a hunger, and there is a desire that cannot be quenched with anything else but His truth. Why? Because we understand our love is perfected. And when His love is perfected in you, you learn how to talk to one another. We learn how to deal with one another. We learn how to have conflict resolution. We learn how to disagree agreeably without being violent with our words towards each other. I can be angry with you and not sin. Because slander is sin. I can be upset with you and walk away from you. But the problem comes in, some of us don't know how to do that. We got to get that last little bit in. And getting that last little bit in, you might just cut off your baruchi from Yahuwah. Because you're trying to get the last little bit in instead of walking away. Verse 17 says, and the world passes away, and the lust thereof. But he that doeth the will of our Yahuwah abideth forever. Somebody say abideth forever.
Abideth forever.
Abideth forever. And it is so.
And it is so.
You may be seated in this awesome presence on tonight. As we are gathered together tonight in this our Young Commission, Day 5 class. Torah, our Torah empowerment. A walk through the Torah. It's important that we understand that we walk through it and not walk past it. Baruch haba Bashim Yahuwah. Baruch haba Ashim Yahuwah. Blessed is the one who comes in the name of Yahuwah. And it is so. As we have been talking about in this portion of our lesson, the heading of our lesson from last year to this year has been renewing our mind to a brilliant thought. And our foundational scripture has been Romans chapter 11 verse 2. Renewing our mind. Not being conformed to this world, but being transformed by the renewing of our mind. And so it is important that we understand Romans 11 and 2. Be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. It's important that we renew our minds. It's important that we understand the steps to renewing our mind. It's important that we understand that as a people, we have gone through a lot. And we will continue to go through a lot. Whether you are a believer or not, because your belief is going to be tested. It's going to be tried. And so it's important that we understand that He has not brought us this far to leave us, neither has He brought us to a place to abandon us, but He has brought us where we are to continue to develop us and cause us as a people to truly every day of our lives do a reality check so that we can make sure that we are lining up. How do we do that? We use the Torah to look at our lives to make sure we are not doing what we're not supposed to. And then to make sure we're doing what we're supposed to. But it's important that we be not conformed to this world, but we be transformed by the renewing of our minds, that we may prove that what is excellent and right in His sight. This is important. Why? Because as you renew your mind, guess what? Your lifestyle begins to be renewed as well. Your life changes. Why? Because you're in the hands of the Most High. I believe it's in Jeremiah chapter 18, where he said that we are the clay and he is the potter. And he wheels that wheel. And if you've ever seen one put clay on a potter's wheel, it's amazing how you can take that thing and put your foot on it and it makes that wheel spin and you can shape it to any design. And if you do too fast, if that clay is too soft, it'll go spinning all over the place. When we lived in California, that was one of the things that I loved about, there was a park called James Kennedy Park. And we would go to it, and they would have different activities, and at that time, stuff was free. You could go in because they were truly concerned about the young people and the community. And you could go in and you could create stuff, and it was free. You went in and went into the pottery classes and so forth. But it's amazing. You put your foot on that wheel, and that stone wheel begins to turn. And as it's turning, you can shape that clay however you want, and then you stop it. If you don't like your design, you can break it down and start all over again. And so it's important that we understand that we are that clay. And because he has us on the potter's wheel, he's creating us to be his people. Somebody said, but I thought we were his people. We are. But you have to understand, we were marred by sin and disobedience and rebellion. And so now that he is shaping us, it's important that we understand it's not just your mind that has to be renewed, but your whole lifestyle. Because your mind is going to tell everything else about you to line up and follow. Your mind is not separate from everything else. So it's important that we renew our mind so that we don't be conformed to this world. See, because conformation to this world, it brings you to a place of separation and isolation from your Lord. So it's important that we understand that. Understand that through this transformation, there is something that we have to do as well. And what is that we have to do? We've got to be willing and obedient. That's right. We've got to be willing and obedient to apply the principles and the instructions to our lives that he has given unto us by way of the Torah. That's right. It's important. And you have to understand, it's important that we understand. The way we used to think, the way we used to act, you can't do that. That's right. Because you must understand, a lot of the things that we learn and a lot of ways that we have been acting is learned behavior. Somebody say learned behavior. Learned behavior. It's learned behavior. Behavior that we learned because we were never honestly taught right till right about now. That's right. Are we understanding? Yes. And what do I mean by that? I mean a lot of things that we have become comfortable with and that we say, okay, this is just a part of us. It's really not a part of us. It is a behavior that was learned and then passed down from generations after generations, and we just embraced it and held on to it. Why? Because we were blinded to our true identity and the way we are supposed to act. Right. And so now that we are in this place and we're in a time of impartation that brings transformation, it is important that we understand that he is conditioning us for his purpose. Right. He is conditioning us as a people so that we will know how to deal with one another. You have to understand, our people were taught, some of them that gave in and were broken, believed that, I got to do this on my own. So you have to understand, slavery taught a lot of our ancestors and forefathers to be separate because people didn't want to get close. You have to understand what some of our ancestors went through. And I mean, some of you may say it's a broken record, but it's not. It is to remind us. That's right. The conditioning of us as a people. Some of our ancestors and forefathers, the stuff they went through. It would be sometimes detrimental to your health and even to your heart, sometimes to fall in love with somebody or get attached to them because you never knew when the master would come and sweep them away. So you have to understand that was something that was inbred. So what happens until that thing is corrected, that's the mentality that some of us continue to carry. Well, I'm alone and I do things on my own. I do this on my own. Well, you have to understand that's learned behavior. Right. Passed down from generations after generations. So now that when we come into this way of life, our way of life, because let me tell you something, it is not a religion. Right. It is our way of life. And so when we begin to understand our way of life, it causes us to truly begin to look at ourselves. Because now we can't just see ourselves as individuals. We have to see ourselves as a community.
That's right.
A community. Because see, you have to understand this is a behavior that we must unlearn. It's all about me. It's all about me. Think about it. Even some of the rappers, what is their whole thing? It's all about me. I got to get that paper. And no matter what I got to do, I'm going to get it. Why? Because that's a learned behavior. It is a behavior that has been propagated. It's a behavior that has been accepted because, once again, we were not checked. We were not put in check, or it was not corrected.
That's right.
So people continue to go on. Now, I'm not saying everybody, but I'm saying for the most part, we can see. Because if it was a change, then we wouldn't be dealing with a lot of folk doing it.
Right.
So the truth is the truth. And so it's important that we understand that where we are now, we can rewrite this. We can change this by living according to His truth.
That's right.
Now, as we're back into this place, a sense of community. Now more than ever, we need to understand the importance of having the mentality of a sense of community. A sense of community. Why? Because let me tell you something, when it's all over with, before it's all said and done with, neighborhoods are going to be obsolete. And you're going to either be in a community or you're going to be living at Walmart. You will understand that maybe later. Why? Because you must understand there's not going to be 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 ways. Either you're going to conform to the ways of Yahuwah, or you're going to be somewhere you don't want to be.
That's right.
And it is so.
It is.
Yes, it is.
He talks to us and begins to share with us about the mishpah, family. And it's not always our immediate family. Yahushua set a criteria for who would be considered the mishpah. The mishpah? Yeah. The mishpah. And Yahushua answered them saying, who is my imam or my ak? And looking around on those sitting around him, he said, see my imam and my ak? For whoever does the desire of power is my ak and my imam and my sister. And that is in Yahuwah, or Yehukanan, I'm sorry, Musa, which is Mark chapter 3, verses 33 to 34. Here we find that the true Ak and a Cody of Yahusha are sovereign one, are doing the Torah, which is the will of the Abba in Shemaiah. So it's not about just being in the mix. It's about following the criteria and doing what is expected of you to be truly called a part of the mishpah.
That's right.
Because these were his blood family, his blood relatives. But blood had nothing to do with it if you ain't living right.
That's right. Right.
Now, it's important that we understand that. Then he tells us, because through him, who? Yahushua our HaMashiach, we have both access to the Abba by one Ruach. So then we are no longer strangers and foreigners, but fellow citizens with the set-apart ones, and members of the household of power. If we are in HaMashiach, then we are part of power's household or family. So we are family. So when we realize that we are family, there should never ever come out of our mouths a derogative word about one another.
That's right.
Now I know that Ak and Cody's get into squabbles. It's just human nature to have disagreements. To have a disagreement. But our disagreements should never ever get to the point that now we're ready to fight and kill one another.
Right.
Because when we do that, that says something is wrong. But you have to remember, once again, this is a learned behavior.
Right.
When we are at odds with one another. I was talking to my daughter, my oldest daughter, and we were talking about a write-up that they had done on two brothers. And the whole thing was a brother killed his other brother over a piece of chicken. Now, to a lot of people, that would sound humorous. And it would be, you know, funny. Oh, man, they killing each other over a piece of chicken. Well, you have to understand something. Number one, if we were not there to understand the conditions of the atmosphere, it's easy to say, well, that was really out, you know, that was really stupid. But if you ever go back and look in history, you see that they had our ancestors and forefathers, and even our the Ox and the Akoti and the Emas fighting over food. Why? Because they wanted to see them fight. They wanted to ensure that there would always be a separation, and that there would always be something that would cause there to be division. Or always, I gotta fight for me, because if I don't look out for me, who will? And so when it's all said and done, once again, learn behavior. Like a sleeper. These are some behaviors that will not come out and manifest until the atmosphere or the area or wherever the condition is right. Like a seed. A seed will only grow in the right conditions. Right. And when the conditions are right, you'll begin to see a whole lot of stuff that you didn't believe that people would do or say. Right. This is why we need the Torah at the helm and the center of our lives. It's important that we understand that. Especially as a people, because we've got to recondition ourselves and unlearn a lot of the stuff that we learned that was acceptable. This is not acceptable behavior. We are part of the family of power. How can I be part of the family of power and I don't even know how to address my Ibram, excuse me, my Ak or my Akoti, or my Ema or my Abba? How can I truly be a part? Why? Because we've been made to believe that we are a part, not of a great family, not of a powerful family, but of just a family, which is so not true. It's far removed from the truth. But it's important that we understand. Now, the Ibram word, Benai, is children. Its root is Banah, to build. It has the very same root of Banah as Bayit or house. Bayit can also mean to have children or to build a family. If we are part of the household of power, then we are also his children. His true dwelling place cannot be separate from his true children. So if we are his children, then we know he's going to dwell with us and we're going to dwell with him. This is where we have to really begin to check our character. We have a saying, act like you belong to us. Act like you're mine. When we go out, we are never to be embarrassed by the way we act. So why should we embarrass Abba Yahuwah? Somebody said, oh, he would never get embarrassed. Really? You don't think that by you going out acting like a bona fide clown, that he would have to look and say, these are my children, but they're acting so far removed from who I am? We don't believe that. Why would he call us a family if he didn't care? Right. He cares. This is why we ought to watch what we say and what we do. Right. And not get out there and act like we're the Lone Ranger. You better understand something. We need each other. Right. You don't have to know my ins and outs. You don't have to know me. All you got to know is that I'm truly living the life. What you need to be looking for is, am I really living what I'm saying? Because I can say I'm Ibram all day long, but if there are no fruits to prove it, something is wrong. I can have the longest name in the world and still not be a part. What we do, we look at names, we don't check out fruit. We need to check out fruit. Because if I'm showing the fruit, I'm bearing the fruit, then you can be rested assured that you can trust in me. And I can trust in you. If I can't, that means something is wrong. We don't have no GMO folk up in here, do we? Genetically modified. We are not genetically modified. If you are genetically modified, that means you are not of the household of belief. Right. And you are not of the house of power. Because we know who we are. We know the fruit that we bear. It is good and it is ripe. And guess what? If you taste it and you eat of it, you won't die. Right. It won't poison your system. Because the only thing you're going to get is a bite of the Torah.
That's right. That's right.
The Ibram words, Am, which is people, and Charuba is community. and kahila, assembly or congregation, emphasizes accountability and togetherness as a community of believers. We are our brothers or our keepers. It's important that you understand we are accountable for togetherness in our community.
That's right.
Even if you and I are states apart, countries apart, we are still accountable for how we entreat one another.
Right.
Don't let distance get you in trouble with the Abba. Just because we may not be next door and literally in the same house or the same family or place, doesn't mean that we're not under the same roof or under the same protection, which is Abba Yahuwah. Through his son, our Savior Yahushua. So it's important that we understand. You have a lot of people that are more committed to people outside of the Ibram community. And they will swear up and down that I am Ibram. But when you look at them, they are more committed to another group or another sect of people than they are of their very own.
Right.
But you are Ibram. You don't understand community. Because if I asked you for help, and somebody else asks you for help that's under old, maybe somebody in Quebec, and you go and you help them before you help me as a child of Yah, something is wrong with that.
Right.
Something is wrong with that because we don't really understand our accountability to being in the community.
Right.
Even if we're not close. Understand, check the fruit. Now, it ain't a mystery. All you got to do is go on social medias. Everybody on there is Ibram. But is everybody bearing the fruit that belongs to the power family? To the family of Yah. We got to look at that. It's important that we understand it.
That's right.
And it is so.
And it is so.
As Hamashiach's Yisrael, we need to take responsibility such as Tzidyak, or Tzidak, which is charity and alms. What does that mean? Being a help to one another.
That's right.
Charity and alms. You get to talking about feeding and giving, and because this is a part of what we're supposed to do.
That's right.
We are not doing anything that are beyond the call of duty. We're doing what we're supposed to do.
That's right.
Show charity. Feed those that are less fortunate. And when we can clothe them, clothe them. That's what we're supposed to do. We don't have any bragging rights because we do that. We're just doing what we're supposed to do.
That's right.
Abstaining from lahashan, hara, which is gossip. Just because you find out about something about your Abba, your Cody, your Ima, or your Abba. And I'm talking about people, that we call these. Now folk want to gossip and talk about people. That's not what we're supposed to do. Now you have to understand the difference between telling the truth and gossiping.
Right.
You have to understand the truth. Just because you tell me something about somebody and it's truth doesn't mean it's gossip. When it becomes gossip is when you tell me and you tell 4 or 5 other folk and y'all sit around and y'all dog them out. That's gossip. Hebron, Kadisha, burial of the dead. As a people, we don't even have or even consider how we're supposed to bury our dead. Why? Because when we have funerals and so forth, we have to go to the secular arena. We have to take them to them and they go and bomb them and take their organs without our permission. And they do all this. But as a community, this is our responsibility as Ibram, to be on the up and up concerning these things. Are we understanding?
Yes.
Visiting the homebound and sick. Our sick and the homebound. How can we do it when we don't know? Or how can it be done when people do tell you, and especially they like to tell people they know. And they like to tell people that they feel have a little notoriety. And guess what? They do nothing about it. Why? Because they ain't about no community, they're about self. They are about self, because if you're about community, you will be building and you'll be pulling together. And this is where we can't get frustrated and we can't get to a point where now we just feel like, well, if they ain't gonna do that, then I'll just go on something else. Let me tell you something. It takes time to build. It takes time to build. And if you get in a hurry and you start basically becoming ambitious and you start becoming frustrated and you don't stop for a moment and just take a knee and say, "Yeah, I need you to help me and be real. I need you to show me what I need to do." You will throw in and scrap the mission and the vision and take up your own. It's not about our own mission and vision. It is about the vision of us as a nation coming together. Someone said, until we come together, well, we better start doing something to come together. I'm all for community. But you have to understand, community doesn't start when we get on the land. Community starts right here. Because you got to be willing to listen to instructions. And that's something I found that a lot of these people don't want to hear. You come to my first, we got to do this, who they talk to? You're a clear room. Because everybody don't want to know that. And then people get mad. Let me tell you something, you're probably going to really get mad at me. When you can't be taught and you can't sit down and settle your soul to listen to instructions, you are not a Ak or an Akodi. You are a bastard. Because you can't receive instructions. And I know people don't like that, but it is the truth. Because you won't listen. Once again, you have to understand, this is a learned behavior. And when you learn this behavior, when you are brought to the truth and you are shown that this is a learned behavior, what are you supposed to do? You're supposed to walk away from it. How do I walk away? Renew your mind through the way of the Torah. Are we understanding?
Yes.
Because you can't be used of Yah if you're going to be all over the place. He has a plan for each one of our lives, but we can't do it if we out there doing our own thing. It's important that we understand that. Like I said, I know a lot of people ain't gonna like it, but it's all good anyhow. In the Brit Chadash, the book of Yaakov, which is James, covers all the community aspects for the believers in Hamashiach Yahusha, our Savior. It is the most Ibram book in the Brit Hadasha in the Renewed Covenant. As it stresses life and behavior within the community of believers. Yaakov gets down to the practicality of our walk, the halakha, in Yahusha, and the interpersonal relationships within the Hamashiach community. Now, it's important that we understand relationship. Somebody say relationship.
Relationship.
Say it again, relationship.
Relationship.
This right here is one of those areas where people feel like, unless you're on platforms, and unless you are somebody that they believe has notoriety, and you know you up there, when you start talking about relationship, y'all, we need to build relationship with each other, and we need to get to know each other. The first thing that happens to people is they feel like, who are you to tell me that? Because you are nobody. You are nobody as well. All of us are nobodies until we start walking in truth and start walking in obedience.
Right.
But the mentality is, who and how can you tell me? Or what can you bring and give to me? I can't be in a relationship that you can't wait if you ain't with me. You have to understand, this is learned behavior. Unless you up there with me, I'll be friends with somebody from another setting or from another community. And when I mean community, I'm talking about a whole other group of people that walk in a religion. Not a way of life. But people will tend to gravitate to them because they feel like it's an exchange. I give you, you give back to me. That's the mentality. So they look at a lot of us at Ibram as, well, you don't have nothing to give to me. When you grow up and you have more to give to me, then possibly we can have a relationship. Which is the wrong attitude. Because nobody looks at a brand new baby and say, get your butt up and get a job and contribute. Unless you are crazy. You looking at that baby saying, get up and go make a living for yourself. Because until you can contribute and show me that we are right here, I have no space for you. You have to understand that is the wrong attitude. Because as long as we all are the power family and we are under the protection of our Abba, then who are you to discriminate because I may not have what you have?
That's right.
Materially wise. But guess what? We have the same Abba. And we are responsible for one another. Am I saying that just because you're supposed to give everybody your money? Absolutely not, because a true Ak or a Cody is not going to ask you to do that.
Right.
They're not going to do that. Now, they may need your help, but they're not going to ask you and they're not going to try to bleed you. This is where we've got to be able to distinguish between who is real and who is false. Are we understanding?
Yes.
This is a major problem. Why? Because the first thing people do is get it in their head that, once again, you are not on my platform, you are not where I am, and so I can't be seen talking with you, or I can't be seen with you because you are a nobody. And we all are supposed to be in the same house, the house of power. We're all the family of power.
Right.
It's amazing. Once again, that's learned behavior.
That's right.
Don't help you. But it's amazing when you look at a lot of the Europeans and you look at the families that have a lot of money. Old Bobby may be a drunk and he may be the lowest and dirtiest thing out there. But you know what? Either that mama or that grandmama is going to make sure that he or she is taken care of. They may be ashamed of them, and they may never want anybody to know who they are and keep them hidden. But when it's all said and done, you know what they do? They make sure they get that check every month.
Right.
Because they're going to take care of their what? Their own. Why? Because that's their family. I'm not saying that we don't do it, but I am saying as the Ibram community, we need to do better.
That's right.
We need to do better.
That's right.
And it is so.
It is so.
We need to do better. It's important that we understand that. Interpersonal relationships. Now, it's important that we understand also in the book, and this is the book written by Yahusha's half-brother. Are we understanding?
Yes.
Now, the Sermon on the Mount, Matthew chapter 5. Let's look at that real quick. And we'll look at verse 7. Actually, we need to read chapter 5 and chapter 7, but we're just going to read chapter 5, and we're going to read verse 7. I believe it's important because it really basically all of the Beatitudes as we know them, I believe, are hinged on verse 7. Because until you can understand mercy, you can't understand nothing else. All right, chapter 5, verse 7. Come on, let's read it from the, we always read it from the King James first, and then let's read it from the separate scriptures, please.
Matthew chapter 5, verse 7, from the NIV. Baruch are the merciful, for they will be shown mercy.
And it is so. And I believe that one, everything else is hinged upon that. Baruch are the merciful, for they shall obtain mercy. We want to be shown mercy, but we are not merciful.
Right.
We are mean, harsh, surly, etc., etc., etc. But yet we want people to be merciful to us.
That's right.
And the first thing that some of us will tend to do is get angry when folk don't come at your beck and call. But then when people call on you, you are nowhere to be found.
Right.
See, we take a few bad apples and a few spoiled oranges, and we tend to believe that everybody is spoiled because we see a few spoiled fruit in the batch.
Right.
Something I've learned is that healthy fruit will not spoil fast.
Right.
The reason why fruit spoils, and if other fruit is next to it, they gotta give a count now. If you take both, if all of it came out of the same bag, now listen to me good. This fruit all came out of the same bag. and it's in the same bowl, guess what? All that fruit evidently is going bad. It's just that those 2 or 3 went bad first. And most of the time we gobble up the other ones before they begin to look bad. But they're already turning. Now you put some healthy fruit in, I'm not saying do it, but you take some healthy fruit and it's in a bowl with fruit that's turning, it's not going to turn right off. Why? Because it's healthier. But watch this. But if it remains in that bowl with that unhealthy fruit, it will spoil. This is where, when you look at the scripture supports that. And it is so. Evil communication corrupts good manners. Are we understanding?
Yes.
Evil communication corrupts good manners. In other words, when that good fruit remains in that bowl with that bad fruit, eventually it will turn.
That's right.
That is why we as a people have to be selective who we deal with outside of our belief. You got to look at them as bad fruit. In other words, and I mean this with all my heart, because you have to understand, if you remain in that position, just like that fruit in that bowl, eventually you will become spoiled. Spoiled with their ways, spoiled with their theology, spoiled with their way of thinking. That's why he said, come out from among them and be ye separate.
That's right.
Why? Because that evil communication or that evil contact will corrupt your good manners, your good ways.
That's right.
That's why it's important that when you see that fruit, once again, if all of that fruit came out of the same bag, the probability of all of it being bad is 100%. It just means that the fruit that turned first was the fruit that basically was more into turning than the fruit that had not turned yet.
That's right.
Why? Because it came out of the same bag.
That's right.
But if you had a fresh bag and you know, okay, this is some healthy apples. That's why if you notice, when you go to the supermarket, some of them are trying to hurry up and sell the bag. You wonder, why don't they just sell some out? Why? Because they understand the expiration date for 1 or 2 in that bag means it's for all of them in that bag.
That's right.
That's right.
So it's important that we understand that. Once again, let us please apply this principle to our lives so that we don't be in that situation. Are we understanding? To be spoiled. Yaakov's teaching showed that belief is expressed within the community by action and not just words. We've got to begin to activate and act upon what we know.
That's right.
Now watch this. Not just by what we believe, until our transformation has fully come.
That's right.
What do I mean by that? Because everybody doesn't believe the same way. It is a sad thing, but many of us say that we're Ibram, but we don't all believe the same way.
That's right.
And so when that happens, it becomes trying. It becomes a little difficult. Why? Because now when you have a group of people that say we are believers, but now when it comes time to put it in action, their actions don't line up with what they're supposed to be believing in.
That's right.
That's right.
Now once again, it's important that we understand Yaakov, which we know as the book of James, teachings show that belief is expressed within the community by action and not just by words. So it means that I just can't talk this. I've got to be dutiful, and I've got to show that I'm not just a talker, but I'm a doer.
That's right.
Because you got people that can talk a good game,
Right.
but when it comes down to it, they don't have nothing to show for it. That's what you call those that sit on the sideline, and they basically be the ones that do all that talking. I forgot what you call them, but those be the ones that we have a saying for it. The ones on the that be on the sideline, they be the booster cables. All they do is boost stuff up because they're not going to basically put their word where their mouth is. So that's the kind of mentality, and that's the things that a lot of people do. They talk a good talk, but when it comes to putting up, they let other people tell them, well, they ain't got what you got. How you know they're not going to take it? How you know? First of all, if I'm Ibram and you look and you see there is no reason for you to question my integrity, but you allow other people outside, watch this, of the community. That's like, I'm going to let somebody come in here and dog my family out? I don't think so.
Right.
Because I'm going to straighten you out right quick and there. I'm gonna straighten you out.
Right.
I might can't say it right now, but I'm gonna straighten you out. I'm gonna get you straight.
Right.
In other words, I'm gonna get you straight. Because you're not gonna come and tell me about my family, whom I'm living with. Now watch this, and who I am in a relationship with on a daily basis.
Right.
This is why we have to form relationships with each other and learn each other on a daily basis. You may not talk to me every day, but there ought to be something that says we need to communicate.
That's right.
So that you can know me. Once again, you have to understand, people, Yahuwah, through Yahusha, is perfecting us and causing us to be a family so that when we get to that place, we will already be ready to do and be what we're already doing.
That's right.
So it's important that we understand that.
That's right.
And not get in our head that we as a people are at odds with each other. That's learned behavior.
That's right.
Well, we can't really trust them. Why? Okay, before I give you reason, until I give you reason, let me put it that way, for you not to believe me, you have no reason to doubt what I say.
That's right.
And I can say that boldly. And all of us should be able to say that. Until I do something to you that makes you see or shows you that I'm being contrary to the truth,
Right.
then you have no right to say, well, I can't trust her because she doesn't have. Not that I'm asking anybody for anything, so please get that straight. I'm using that as an analogy.
That's right.
But what I am saying is this is what we do with each other. We let other people from other places, other religions, other communities, and tell them, well, you know, they ain't where you are. You know, they ain't nobody. They ain't on no panel. They ain't known all around the world. It doesn't matter if I'm known all around the world. As long as I'm known in the house of Yah.
Right.
That's right.
As one of his. That should be the main thing that causes us to do what we do. But because a lot of us, we still walking in that learned behavior. Behavior that says, unless you where I am, I can't help you. Unless you have been where I've been, you don't know. Unless your vocabulary is where mine is, you can't do nothing with me and for me. We negate the principal truth that as long as we are of the house of power, or the family of power, we are indebted to help one another.
That's right.
I didn't say anybody. I said those that are living right.
That's right.
Living according to Torah. Because if you ain't living right, I'm not going to do anything. I will help you to a degree to help you get right. But after you continue to come backwards and forth, and you don't want to listen, there's nothing else for me to do. Why? Because once you have made that point, it is up to the individual to make the choice to live right and do right. You can't make people do what they don't want to do.
That's right.
That's right.
Because when you do, then that's when you step out of your place and you start trying to be God, and you can't do that. And it is so.
Yes, sir.
All right. Now, once again, it's important that we understand the actions. Belief and works are not conflicting values as commonly misunderstood, but complementary. They complement one another. Are we understanding?
Yes.
Belief is expressed within the community by actions and not just words. Belief and works are not conflicting values as commonly misunderstood, but complementary. They complement one another.
That's right.
It is a belief that works within this world by observance of the Torah in the Hamashiach community. That is an expression of our truly believing in Hamashiach. He is our example to follow. Now, we're going to look at Yehukin and Aleph, chapter 1, verse 6. His love is expressed through us to our neighbor as he lives in us and through us as Yah-Israelites. Now, this is where, you know, people begin to look at us and honestly, you start thinking, when you start talking like this, sometimes you wonder, what do people believe? That we're supposed to love one another? That we're just supposed to be, you know, our own? Because, you know, the mentality is, well, y'all going to be the one bring us together. What do you think he's trying to do? We must understand that. Are we understanding?
Yes. cease to be.
We must understand that. And then you must get it in your mind. I am not your enemy.
That's right.
I'm not your enemy. Somebody say that. I am not your enemy.
Your enemy.
We're not enemies. But we have lived in this manner for so long that we believe that our brothers and our ops and our Codys and our Emas and our Abbas are our enemies. All you gotta do is just look. And then we prefer one another over, we prefer each other over one another. Well, because you have a little more, you have a better crowd, I'll come to you. Because you can get a little more, can get me out there a little better, you can kind of, give me the exposure that I need. I don't care if it's not for one person. Because that one person is still valuable and important to y'all. But we began to look at numbers. And where can it take me? I ain't going there. They can't pay me to get there. I ain't going there. Oh my, help us, y'all. Help us. I ain't going there. I'm not about to be wasting my time. They ain't got nothing to offer me. And it ain't gonna be nobody there. You start thinking. So you come and you ain't nobody either, huh? Because if you come, aren't you somebody? I don't care if it's one person. If I'm asked to come, I will go. Why? Because that one person needs to know Torah.
That's right.
But we so worried about how many people it is, and is it going to get publicity, and is it going to get up on YouTube and cause me to get a greater following? Come on, man. We got to mature and grow up.
That's right.
Because you after the wrong thing.
That's right.
We're supposed to be after the lost sheep of Yisrael. Yahushua said, I'll leave the 99 for that one. Why is it so hard for us to stop for a moment and say, that one is my Ak or my Akodi, and they are valuable.
That's right.
And if it means that I have to go just for them, I'm going to do it. Learn behavior. That's why we won't do it. Because we were taught, get all you can get, and all you can get it.
That's right.
And it doesn't matter who you go up the chain or to pass to get what you want. You ain't got to help them, because if they can't get where you are, don't you waste no time and money on them. Learn behavior. And it is so. Come on, read for me. Verse, chapter 1, verse 6. Yehukanan Aleph. And it is so. You gonna read it for me? You got it?
Yes.
All right, we're gonna read it out of the NIV first, and then we're going to read it from the Septuagint scriptures.
First Yukonin chapter 1. First Yukonin chapter 1.
Yehukanan Aleph, chapter 1, verse 6.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
If we claim to have fellowship with him, yet walk in darkness, we lie and do not live in the truth, and live by the truth.
That's all?
Yes.
Okay.
Verse 6.
Come on, let's read.
If we say that we have fellowship with him and walk in darkness, we lie and do not have the truth.
Now there, what is that, semicolons? Colon? That's colon? All right. Now, verse 7 goes along with that. Let's read verse 7. I'm sorry, I should let you read. Read verse 7 too. Because verse 7 goes with that. Anytime you see colon or semicolon, that means that what follows after needs to be read right with it. Because it's one. It's supposed to be one verse. Okay, come on.
But if we walk in the light, as he is in the light, we have fellowship with one another, and the blood of Yahushua, his son, purifies us from all sin.
And it is so. All right, come on.
But if we walk in the light, as he is in the light, we have fellowship one with another. And the blood of his son cleanses us from all sin.
And it is so.
It is so.
Now, did we just hear that?
Yes.
In order for us to have true fellowship, we have to be one with one another. We have to be cleansed by the blood of Yahushua. In other words, we have to accept him as the son of the Abba and accept his atonement for our lives.
Right.
It's there. We just have to accept it. Somebody say, well, how do we accept it? Number one, by repenting and turning from our wicked and evil ways and began to follow his instructions for our lives.
That's right.
That's right.
Then true fellowship can begin to blossom.
That's right.
That's right.
It can't because, number one, there is a barrier between us.
That's right.
That's right.
There's a barrier. It's important that we understand, once again, sometimes we prefer somebody else's way of life over our own.
That's right.
Just because you have a run-in with somebody else that may not be doing what they're supposed to, doesn't mean that now the whole house of power is infected.
Right.
That's right.
Because we are not all infected by that way of life.
That's right.
Some of us truly do love, and we love unconditionally.
That's
That's
right.
right.
Some of us are not out to hurt you or to harm you.
That's right.
But you will never know that until you are truly cleansed and walking in truth. If we say that we have fellowship with him and walk in darkness, we lie and do not have the truth. What is the darkness? When we walk alienated from one another.
Right.
When we walk contrary to his instructions for our lives. It's important that we understand that. Now we go to verse 7, which should be a part of verse 6. But if we walk in the light, as he is the light, talking about who? Yahusha. We have fellowship with one another, and the blood of Yahusha, his son, cleanses us from all sin. It's important that we understand, once again, but if we walk in the light as he is the light, or as he is in the light, we have fellowship one with another, and the blood of Yahusha, his son, cleanses us from all sin. You have to understand, not just Yahusha, but Yahuwah is in the light, because he is light.
That's right.
That's right.
But how can we say we are walking in that light when we can't even get along with one another?
Right.
Sometimes that's why I try to stay off these social medias unless I have something to say, or unless Yahuwah tell me to go on there and look at some stuff and just kind of check out what's going on. Because we can sometimes be the most antagonistic people on it.
Right. Right.
We sometimes post up stuff just to start arguments.
Right. Intentionally.
Intentionally put stuff up there that we know it's going to be somebody out there greedy enough to take the bite.
Right.
That's right.
And it just causes an ongoing argument or frustration.
Right.
It ought not be. There's a problem with that. Once again, learned behavior. So we feel like, well, I just got to get it. I just got to tell them. And I just, this question just has to be put out there. Really? If you don't know the answer, then what you asking people for? Because if somebody told you the real answer and you don't know it, then you would know if you saw it.
That's right.
We've got to learn how not to do that with one another.
That's right.
For as the body without the Ruach is dead, so also the belief is dead without the works. Yaakov chapter 2, verse 26. Let's go there, please. It's important that we understand that. Don't tell me you love me and then you want to sit up there and scrutinize me and act like I got something, I'm trying to hurt you.
That's right.
Until I hurt you, there is no reason for you to treat me at a distance.
That's right.
And you have to understand, we ain't talking about stepbrothers and stepsisters, and I'm not saying anything against that because I know people do have them. And sometimes they can be good and sometimes they can be horrible and hideous.
That's right.
And it's just the truth. But the bottom line is that you got to know, we are of the same household and we have the same blood.
That's right.
But we will never know that because sometimes we don't even take the time to find that out. I've been doing research on the background of my family because I want to know where I come from. I know I'm Hebrew.
That's right.
But there's also that part of me that wants to know about my family,
That's right.
my ancestry. And knowing my names, the names of my family, one of the things that we value, one of the things that we held in high regard, knowing our ancestry, knowing who begot who and who begot what.
That's right.
That was important, but that was stripped from us. So the only thing we were left with was what we had as an immediate family, and nothing else moved forward. Why? Because it was basically broken out of us. So when it's all said and done, we didn't have families because it was not taught. Why? Because sometimes they kept it a secret or they kept hush mouth on it.
That's right.
Why? Because certain things. You got to understand. A lot of stuff we had no control over, but you have to understand those things happen because of disobedience. But at the same time, we have no right to withhold that type of information. Because now what happens is there's a greater breach created, there's a bigger gulf that's created, because now we come up with 3, 4, 5 generations of people that don't even know who their ancestors are, or who knows their great-great-great-great-grandmamas, and so forth. Why? Because that was stripped from us.
That's right.
So now we walk around not knowing. But let me tell you something. The Europeans know.
That's right.
They know. And not only them, the others know. We're the only ones that have to be wonder where do we come from and who are our family. There's nothing wrong with knowing. Are we understanding?
Yes.
Because you have to understand, if I'm not just Ibram, they are Ibram too.
That's right.
Because I come from them. So I want to know. So it's important that we understand where we come from and understand these things. Now, once again, for as the body without the Ruach is dead, so also the belief is dead without the works. It's important that we have works with it. Come on, let's read.
And it is so.
And it is so.
Yaakov chapter 2, verse 26 from the NIV. As the body without the Ruah is dead, so belief without deeds is dead. Verse
Read
26.
again, I'm sorry.
Verse 26 again. As the body without the Ruah is dead, so belief without deeds is dead. And it is so.
And it is so. Thank you, I'm sorry. Come on.
For as the body without the Ruach is dead, so belief without works is dead also.
All right. For as the body without the Ruach is dead, so belief without works is dead also. In other words, if we believe in this, there's going to be some works.
That's right.
Right.
This is why, once again, when I see our ox and our codies preferring other people over their own ox and a codie, I question their belief in their family. If I don't know, then help me to know.
That's right.
Don't automatically shoot me down and say, well, I can't get it done with you because you don't have what it takes. But yet you're willing to get somebody else from a whole nother, community of belief. They don't even believe like we believe. But yet you're so willing to use them and have them, all a part of you because you feel like you can get more done with them. Something is wrong with that.
That's right.
Something is majorly wrong with that. Once again, sense of community. We've got to regain that. When you look at movies that portray our ancestors and forefathers, as you watch some of them, and I'm talking about as you saw even during the time of slavery, you saw that was one thing about us. We were community. We were family. Our ancestors and forefathers may have lived in a small little house that only had one opening, but they still understood community, going outside under the stars and esteeming the Most High, esteeming Yahuwah. They would do that. They would come together and eat. They would come together and they would listen to stories. That's community.
That's right.
We have a hard time just getting on a social media talking sociably to one another. I was on something earlier. It didn't even take an hour and they were already up there slamming one another. I was like, this is just ridiculous. I'm serious. We say we want to help one another, but then it turns into a brawl.
Right.
I said, I don't have time for that. I don't have time for stuff like that. And then especially when you don't listen to reason.
That's right.
I'm like, nope, don't have time. This is not mine. And I left it alone. Why? Because I don't have time to be fighting with people and debating with people.
That's right.
We don't have time. If we're going to help the community, the first thing we need to help is teach people. You got to be Torah invested and invested by Torah.
That's right.
Because if not, what good are you to a community with Torah believers? You're not going to walk. You're not going to walk the way Torah says. You're not going to observe Torah.
Right.
So why am I going to open up a community and you be at the helm of it?
Right.
Something wrong with that.
That's right.
Because all it's going to be is bickering and fussing because you don't want to obey Torah. Well, all religions, this ain't a religion, sweetheart, this is a way of life.
That's right.
That's the problem. Everything is heaped up into religion because people don't like to listen.
Right.
That's right.
And it is so.
And it is so.
All right, Yehukin in chapter 3, verse 18. Yehukin in Aleph, chapter 3, verse 18. My little children, let us not love in word or in tongue, but in deed and in truth. Somebody say in truth.
In truth.
When you love somebody in truth, you don't have a problem helping them.
That's right.
And you don't scrutinize and discriminate, and you don't turn around and make them feel bad. You don't. Because we are supposed to cover one another.
That's right.
Once again, my little children, let us not love in word or in tongue, but in deed and in truth.
That's right.
In other words, with your actions and in truth. When you know the truth, it's not hard to do it.
That's right.
Yisrael is the body of Hamashiach, and each individual is a member of that body. We are a member of his body.
That's right.
We are the seed, the family of our Abba, Abraham. We are all Akkad, or one. Corporate personality. Now that's where, as I studied this and I looked at this, I kind of chuckled to myself. One corporate personality. When you get to talking about one corporate personality, that's when you really start seeing people begin to be themselves. Because when you say corporate personality, the first thing people think about, I got to lose who I am, without even hearing the whole matter or the conclusion of the matter. I got to lose who I am. I ain't gonna do that. I ain't blah 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 blah. And now it becomes something else. But because we are his body, we are the seed of the family of Abba Abraham. We are all a card or one corporate personality. You know how we become one corporate personality? It is through the Torah.
That's right.
This is how we become one corporate personality, through the Torah. We keep the set apart times. We keep the Shabbat. We love one another. And we all do it the same way.
That's right.
But learned behavior teaches you and tell you, they ain't doing it right. Ain't nobody, who made you the chief? Who made you the leader? Now we got issues. Why? Because folk don't want to humble themselves. Now mind you, we all got to do this.
That's right.
But learned behavior teaches you. Well, I'm not going to do that. I don't want to do that. Let us look at Yehukin in chapter 17, verses 18 through 26. And we're going to stop here. Come on, Yehukin in chapter 17, verse 18 through 26.
And it is so.
And it is school. 15, 26.
Yehukin in chapter 17, verses 18 through 26. The NIV. As you sent me into the world, I have sent them into the world. For them I set myself apart, that they may too be truly set apart. My prayer is not for them alone. I pray also for those who will believe in me through their message, that all of them may be one. Abba, just as you are in me, and I am in you. May they also be in us, so that the world may believe that you have sent me. I have given them the esteem that you gave me, that they may be one as we are one. I and them, and you and me. May they be brought to complete unity to let the world know that you sent me, and have loved them even as you have loved me. Abba, I want those you have given me to be with Abba, I want those you have given me to be with me where I am, and to see my esteem, the esteem you have given me, because you loved me before the creation of the world. Righteous Abba, though the world does not know you, I know you, and they that know you have sent me. I have made you known to them, and will continue to make you know, in order that the love you have for me may be in them, and that I myself may be in them. And it is so.
I think that's 1576. And it is so. Now you have to understand, these are the words of who?
Yahusha.
Yahusha. Now, I don't know about you, but I felt that. Because when it's all said and done, you have to look at what he was saying, what he was praying. What he was praying on that day. 1576. What he was praying. You have to understand, he wasn't just rambling. He wasn't just calling out a bunch of words.
That's right.
Verse 16 says, verse 18, As you have sent me into the world, even so have I also sent them into the world. You have to understand, we have been sent into the world.
That's right. That's right.
We have been sent into the world. Verse 19 said, And for their sakes I set apart myself, that they also might be set apart through the truth. The Torah is true. So you have to understand, he was a Torah believer. Verse 20 says, I do not pray for these alone, but for them also which shall believe on me through their word. Now, how can people believe on him through the word if we ain't saying it?
Right. That's right.
He said, I do not pray for these alone, but for them also which shall believe on me through their word. How can people believe on him through our word if our words are always derogative and they're always against one another? And then when we do come up trying to say something, how much are we telling people about Yahusha?
Right. That's right.
How much are we saying about him that will cause people to say, you know what, I'm ready to change, I'm ready to live right. I'm ready to do this thing the right way. Once again, now watch this when he says in verse 21, that they all may be a God, one in unit or in unity. As you, Abba, are in me and I in you, that they also may be a God, united one in us, that the world may believe that you have sent me. Now you have to understand that's not talking about everybody. That is talking about the prostituting sheep of Yisrael. How can they believe if we can't even show that we're one? We won't support one another. We won't basically back one another. Something is wrong with that picture. And that the power which you gave me. Verse 22. I have given them that they may be a God, one in unity, even as we are a God, one in unity. I in them and you in me, that they may be made perfect in a God, one in unity. How can we be made perfect when we don't even take one another seriously? How can we be made perfect and be one when we don't even have a relationship with one another? We can't even jumpstart a good relationship with one another because we won't stay long enough with one another.
Right.
We jump ship. Well, they didn't have enough to offer me. You start thinking, when it's all said and done, if you have all the answers, then you should stay there and teach.
That's right.
Don't want to do that. I in them and you in me. And they may be made perfect in a God, one in unity, and the world may know that you have sent me and have loved them as you have loved me. How can our people know? How can we know? And know that that Yahusha loves them if we can even display unity. We don't display, you hear the rumors, you hear people say, them, Ibram, are not united. Those Ibram are horrible. They treat their women like dirt. They treat this like that. They are this way and they're that way. Why? Because that's all people see. You know why that's all people see? Is because that's all was put up there. And the ones that can change that won't. People are in a position to change it, and they won't. Why? Because they're so busy doing their own thing. You start thinking, you got this platform, you got all this stuff. Why don't you help somebody?
Right.
Why don't you put it to where, yeah, this is somebody, you know, in the wall, and this is somebody I love because I just like talking to them. Why? Because everything has to be, you know, to the liking of, watch this, of people, you know, of notoriety. They may be known by the people, but are they known of Yah? It's important that we ask that. Now watch this in verse 24. Abba, I want those whom you have given me to be with me where I am, that they may behold my power, which you have given me. For you loved me before the foundation of the world. It's important that we understand what was given. Verse 25, he says, O righteous Abba, the world has not known you, but I have known you, and these have known that you have sent me. We know that he was sent.
That's right. That's right.
We know that he was. And understand the work was not finished, and the work was not finalized through them.
That's right.
It was just beginning.
That's right.
That's right.
Verse 26. And I have declared to them your name, and will declare it, that the love wherewith you have loved me may be in them, and I in them. Once again, verse 26. And I have declared to them your name, and will declare it, that the love wherewith you have loved me may be in them, and I in them.
That's right.
You have to understand, Yahushua's primary focus at that time was a car.
That's right.
Because he understood all that was taking place then and all that was going to take place even in our time.
That's right.
That's right.
It's important that we understand, as the family of power, we are responsible, and we're going to be held accountable for how we treat one another.
That's right.
How we love one another and how we not love one another. How we are long-suffering with one another and how we are not. Now, I want to understand what I'm saying. I am talking about to the true Israel.
That's right.
You know, we have some people that don't know. I was talking to a young man earlier. He said, I'm not a leader. He said, but I am a learner. He said, and I want to learn. When people want to learn, you can't stop people from learning.
That's right.
It's the ones that when you get to talking to them, they already feel like they know everything. Now understand, when you understand your position, and I'm not talking about a teacher now. I'm just talking about people that, you know, are walking in this, but they are self-taught, and their whole mission is, I'm a law unto myself, I don't need anybody, and I'm not going to be with anybody because it's safer that way. Learn behavior.
That's right.
It's important that you understand as well as I understand
That's right.
the sense of community. That we understand the community as a whole. Because guess what? We are the community.
That's right.
And if we do not represent our Abba in the right manner, how will people know that he was sent by the Abba? And that his love is upon our lives, and he desires to share it with you.
That's right.
He desires to bring you back home. Because it is through us that we reach out to those that are still lost and still in that prostituting state. It's important that you remember the sense of community and understand that community. We are that community.
That's right.
And if we can't get it together, and I'm once again, and I'm not talking about just on a piece of land, I'm talking about as believers. Because whether we're here in the same state, the same city, the same county, the same country, if they don't see community there, they sure won't see it when you got a bunch of people on the land, and guess what? They're still fighting and bickering and fussing.
Right.
Now they're in arm's reach or hands reach. Now you're going to see some physical fight, not just the verbal. That's why it's important that we understand who we are and understand our mission and understand our purpose. Once again, it's important that you understand that we are the family of power. We are his family, and it is time that we live up to who we are and act like we know who we are. And it is so.
And it is so.
And it is so. Come on, put your hands together. It's important that we understand our responsibility and our obligations to be one, to be a cog. Once again, I want to encourage your hearts. As Ibram, keep your head up, keep your shoulders square, keep your heart and feet in and upon the Torah. Know that we have a purpose, and that purpose starts at home. The scripture says, charity starts at home and spreads abroad. We've got to show that we love one another before we can show we love anybody else. It's important that we truly get that into our hearts and minds. Why? Because sometimes we only give to people that we think we're going to get something back from. That is the wrong attitude, and that is the wrong disposition. But I want to say to you on tonight, those of you that have been striving to bring a cod, unity, into the family, the community. My prayers is that God will continue to hear you and continue to esteem you and cause you and your voice to continue to travel on the winds. Prepare the places that you're going to have to go. Prepare the ground that your feet is about to meet. So that where you go, our people, God's people will be receptive to the instructions and the guidance that the Torah will give you to give to them. It is time that we truly mature and begin to see the bigger picture. We are a community, we are family, and we need to begin to come together and strive to be that family that the world looks up to. Who am I talking about? I'm talking about the children of Yisrael. That they will see this is real. I need to come home. Because there's no better place than where? Home. No better place than home. And no, there's plenty of room for you at home. So I want to encourage your hearts once again. Keep your head up, keep your shoulders square. Keep your heart and your feet in and upon the Torah. Remember, we are its natural habitation. And when you allow it to do what Yahuwah through Yahusha brought it forth to do, you will see that you will begin to grow, and you will begin to be productive, and you will begin to produce the fruit that is supposed to be produced in your life. I want to say once again, Toda for tuning in to our Yom Kamishi class, our 5th day class, Torah Empowerment, a walk through the Torah. I want you to remember that I am Senior Prophetess Sabrina Brown, and I am the leader of Messengers of Yahuwah's Kingdom of Brave Relief Ministries, located in Columbia, South Carolina. If you are looking for a place to fellowship, if you're looking for a place to grow and to allow your belief to stretch out in the Torah, then I want to invite you to be a part of this local assembly if you are in Columbia. If you're looking to be a part, I'm on Facebook, and I'm on YouTube. Send me a message, and I'll send you the address. If you're looking to be a part, hit me up, and I'll send you the address. I want to say, if you're listening for the first time, and you like what you hear, even if you don't, like, subscribe, and then leave me a comment. And share this video. It's important that we be helpers one to another. I want to say to you here at Messengers of Yahuwah's Kingdom of Brave Relief Ministries, we love you and we are praying with you and for you. I want you to know once again at 4027 Baldwin Road, Columbia, South Carolina. This is the place where the Torah does the body good. Until next time, may Yahuwah Baruch Atah and keep you in his shalom until we meet again. And it is so.
And it is so.